Okay, so I'm just going to pick up where the last one left off. Okay, so again, just to give you some examples, remember that you would want to track changes. That's the best way to do this. You could also highlight if you like. That's up to you, but I think that track changes is the easiest. And I would take the revision step at a time. So I'd go back to the submission link with my notations in Blackboard, and I'd first do MLA. For this example, there are no MLA notations, but many of you may have some MLA notations. Those are the easiest to fix. And then I would skip over grammar and I would instead see if there were any C for content notations. Now, the reason why I would skip over grammar is because if you go through and fix what's here or edit what's here for grammar, but then you have to add a page or you have to add more writing, you would need to go through that too. And remember, in the drafting stage, you don't want to be thinking about grammar. It would just be distracting, and it would harm the writing. And to be completely honest, so you don't want to think about grammar when you're drafting. And if you have C notations, that means you still have some drafting to do, or you need some to revise some of the drafting that's there for content. That's the most important part. So you want to make sure that you have the correct page length and that you're fulfilling the assignment. For our narrative assignment, that means the conventions of what a narrative is supposed to be. Now, this particular student sample does not have any content areas, and that's good. Okay. And if you have an overall impression score, okay, that is less than like 7, somewhere in the 7 range. If your score is like 8 or above, that usually means that the narrative itself, the content, is really, really strong. If it's below, then it could be a combination of factors. It could be that there are a lot of grammatical issues that's making it difficult to read. Or it could be that there are lots of content issues. In other words, that maybe it's not exactly a narrative. It's not exactly what we're looking for. And so that would harm the impression that your readers would have as far as it being a story or as far as it being clear and understood. So content is very, very important, and MLA is easy to fix. Content is very important and thoughtful. It needs to be need to take some time. You don't need to be thinking about grammar. Now, once you have fulfilled the assignment's purposes, including page length, and you feel like um, content-wise, of course, you can check in with me at any point. You can schedule an appointment with me if you're not sure. But once you feel like you fulfilled that, then I would focus on grammar, and that can be a task in and of itself. Okay, I would take note of all of the asterisk G notes. So we've got 3 so far here, and these are standalone, no asterisk. That means it's just a one-time thing. So I would take note of those and go, okay, now usually there's just 4 or 5 even error patterns, okay, asterisk ones. If there's more than that, I usually suggest that you have a tutor help you, or schedule an appointment with me. That's usually my suggestion because it can be a little bit difficult. But even then, you would take it one at a time. So the first notation, if you remember, that was comma usage. So I'd read the notation and then I would go through the entire paper, and that's up to you if you want to go through it all at once or just paragraph by paragraph. And I would check for comma usage. And I've already kind of done that in this paragraph. You can see when you're young, okay, there's 1, comma, occasionally, comma, and I added that. Your buddy and you may not see eye to eye every once in a while, and I added that, and you'll see that because I have tracked changes on, it shows that I've added that. When you first find it, there's another one, pause, comma, you become so excited that you fall so deeply and you allow yourself to become vulnerable because you trust love. And so this one looks pretty good as far as the G1. Now I might choose to go on, or I might go back through this paragraph for the other error patterns that were notated. G8 and then G4. Now typically, if I have not noted it in a certain area, that typically means that I didn't begin to notice the error pattern until right here, until the place that I've noted it. So that would usually mean from this point forward. Okay, not always. You want to kind of make a check yourself throughout your paper, but typically that's my intention is to try to um, find the first one, and if I've noticed that it's a pattern throughout, I'll go back and I'll put an asterisk by the first one. That's typically the way I grade, but I may have missed it, so it's really just a guide for you to try to be able to identify and catch them yourself. But that's what I would do, is I would take it one by one. Now, when you're finished, you should have a ton of track changes notes, okay? It should be filled with track changes to demonstrate the changes that you have made, okay? And when you're finished, then you would want to save this as its own document. I always save to the desktop. I think that's easiest to find. Of course, if you have a flash drive, that's fine too. I would label this track changes version so you can find it easier and save it. Now this would need to be uploaded itself. Okay, this is what I suggest to students, because what you're doing is you're demonstrating to me that you have gone through this and made your changes. Okay, but this is not where it would end. Okay, so you would want to upload the track changes version, and you would want to upload a clean edited copy. So I might download it again, open it up, and this would be a new version, but it's not the track changes version. It's not the one it still needs to be edited. So what you have done is given yourself, let's find the track changes version, I believe is this one, given yourself an editing guide. Again, I just went through this one paragraph 4 commas. I have not gone through the entire thing. It would take a little bit longer than we have for a demonstration. But your paper would then be filled with notations and track changes. Let me show you an example. So as an example, here would be a document maybe that has all the track changes. That's a lot, as you can see. Now, the reason why I have you do this is because, or I suggest, I shouldn't say I have you do it. I mean, I wouldn't call it necessarily a requirement. However, as I said in the assignment Dropbox, if you haven't, I can't guarantee you have no proof of real strong revision. Okay, I can't guarantee that I will be able to. It'll jump out at me. Now, I do look at my original notes and I do read your paper anew, but this would prove the work that you put in, the revision, that you understand the process of editing and revision. And what you're doing is you're learning how to make editing notes for yourself. That is a key learning strategy, is learning how to edit your work. And with guidance, sometimes it's very important to have. Sometimes you may not need that guidance. Maybe you get skilled enough on your own. Right now, it's probably best that you have guidance. Either through me, you can contact me if you like to set up an appointment, or a tutor, which I offer points, if you see a tutor. So this would be a track changes document. This is an example after it's been thoroughly, edited. These are editing notes, okay? And then you would want to follow them, okay? Once you have created your track changes document, then you should have sort of a new clean document that you can go back through with your editing notes and clean up and edit. Okay, you've used my guide to help you understand certain issues that we would want to clear up, but I do not go through and edit for you. Okay, that doesn't teach you anything. I know that you're used to that in English classes, but that's not the way this works. It wouldn't be understandable. You wouldn't understand where to start unless you go through and learn how to edit yourself. Okay. So, again, just a suggestion, a strong suggestion, because I can guarantee that you'll have a good grade if I can see the amount of work that you put into it. Okay. And it'll help improve what's here. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So you want a clean version. You want to go through and make the changes according to your own edits, right? So through your own track changes, you would want to go through, use it as a guide for yourself, and make sure that it is edited properly. And then this would be a clean version. So in your revision Dropbox, I would hope to see two submissions. One that is a track changes document, and the other that is a clean edited copy. We call that a polished copy, and so that would be demonstrating your own growth as a writer and learning how to do that. This very important stage of the writing process, revision and editing. Okay, so just let me know if you have any questions, and I apologize for these two videos if there was any room noise or a sort of a stop and go feel to it. Writing is very messy, and sometimes making these videos is a little bit messy to demonstrate that the writing process can be very chaotic. That's very normal. But we'll get through it together. So you please feel free to let me know if you have any troubles, and reach out to me if you'd like to schedule an appointment for my guidance. Of course, you can visit with a tutor if you want. Make sure that you document that conversation with the tutor. They would be able to do that for you. And just let me know if you have any questions about this process. Okay, see y'all in class.